You're coming, sir?
Please come.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Please
Good
sit
morning,
down.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
What's your name?
So my name is Vishnu Sasikumar.
Mr. Vishnu, had you come here earlier also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Last
your
year.
face is very familiar. That's
Yes,
why
sir.
I asked. Good. Good, you are in Danix now.
Thank you, sir.
Good to know. So, let us start. Please tell us about yourself.
My name is Vishnu Sasikumar. I was born in Kerala. I have been brought up in Gujarat. I did all of my schooling in Gujarat till class 12th. In 11th and 12th, I took humanities, post which I did my graduation in political science and economics from St. Stephen's College, Delhi University. After my graduation, I began preparing for the civil services. And so, based on the results of Civil Service Exam 2022, I have been allocated to the Danix service. And I joined Danix service on 26 December 2023. And I am currently undergoing training as a Danix probation.
How many marks you got in the interview then?
So, last year I got 201.
201?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Tell us about this journey from Kerala to Gujarat to Delhi. How come?
So my father, he came to Gujarat in search of work. So he settled in Gujarat 30 years back. So after my mother's
Your father says unemployed. What does that mean now?
So currently he is not into any job. He wanted to start a venture for which he resigned. But then the venture also could not work well.
So what was he working as?
So earlier he was working as an electrical engineer in a private firm.
Okay. Then he shifted to Gujarat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us start with Gujarat first. Please tell us the culture of Gujarat.
So Gujarat is a multicultural society because given that it's an industrial base, it's a cosmopolitan state because people from different states of India, they come in search of work, in search of industries. So the culture of Gujarat is quite diverse. Sir, when we look at the whole of Gujarat, there are three major belts or areas which we can focus upon. So one is the Kutch area, which has a distinct culture due to the geography of being a desert. The Kutchi, the culture of the Kathiawadi Kutchi food is distinct to Kutch, which has now been famous in Gujarat because of the presence of lentils and the pulses. So Saurashtra is yet another region which is culturally diverse, again because of the arid geography that it offers. Then the southern Gujarat is more cosmopolitan in nature and more urbanized because of the influx of heavy investments due to the infrastructure presence within Gujarat. So the cultural aspects, Garba is a very major aspect of Gujarati culture. And sir, in the food cuisine aspect, so it's majorly vegetarianism, and the dishes are a bit on the sweeter side as well.
So in political science, you have done some research also on the rural side, as I've seen in your DAC. Tell me, how are the rural areas today, now, as compared to, let's say, 30 years ago?
Sir, I think compared to 30 years ago, the rural areas today are better placed in terms of accessibility and availability of services and infrastructure, even through the government interventions like
But does it apply to all the rural areas throughout India?
No, sir. The status is uneven as such because there are wide regional disparities in terms of development.
So tell me, which rural areas of which state have gone ahead and which states have been left behind?
Sir, states in the western India, especially like Gujarat, Maharashtra, they have been able to reduce the rural-urban divide by focusing on the infrastructure and connectivity aspects. Sir, at the same time, the areas within the northeast or the hilly terrains, due to the adverse geography and given the historical backwardness that they had, they are not on an equal pedestal with the states in the west and the south India, sir, in rural terms.
Is infrastructure the only thing you wanted to talk about?
No, sir. Infrastructure is not also the only thing, sir. Social factors also, like, sir, the caste discrimination, which is very much prevalent within the rural areas, is also an issue. And so the issue of patriarchy and the lack or the reduction in the penetration.
So in the so-called advanced states that you mentioned,
yes, sir,
these have changed patriarchy system and other things have changed now?
So the system as a whole has not been able to change, but there are considerable progresses that have been made, especially in the rural areas through self-help groups, through government
Okay, now
interventions.
tell me about Rohingyas. Who are they? Where are they from?
So Rohingyas are an ethnic minorities belonging to the Islam religion from the Rakhine state in Myanmar, and so due to the persecution from the Myanmari military, the Tatmadaw, they have been migrating out of Myanmar and they are coming into northeast India, and many of them are now resettled in the Cox's Bazar and in the Bangladeshi. There's an island, sir, which I'm not able to currently
But
recall.
tell me why India refused to accept them. You know, there was a lot of hue and cry.
Yes, sir.
People went right up to Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
What was India's problem?
So,
There were hardly few thousand people.
So the issue was then there could be a nexus of crime associated with the Rohingyas.
They are all criminals?
No, sir, not all criminals, but given that they are entering illegally without any record, without any proof, then it would be difficult for us to trace them.
But that's a separate thing you're talking now.
Yes, sir.
Thus, tracing is different, being criminal is different.
So many of them would be either forced into crime because they would not be able to find jobs within the country, and so many of them would be used by the transnational organizations to engage in criminal activities and smuggling, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Mr. Vishnu,
Yes, sir.
what has been the experience of Gujarat on prohibition?
On, sir.
Prohibition.
Sir, the prohibition policy has worked well for the Gujarat because the issue of the lack of consumption of alcohol and liquor has led to a reduction in domestic violence, and at the same time it has led to a sense of peace and stability and orderliness within the state, which has been a major factor for investments being attracted into the state. So at the same time there are certain issues like illegal alcohol bootlegging is still an issue because we have not been able to address the demand side as such. And so recently, as Gujarat is trying to attract private investment, there is a provision made within the gift city to allow sale of retail liquor at certain places.
So it's been a mixed success.
Yes, sir, it's been a mixed success.
How about Bihar?
Sir, in Bihar, the issue, it has not been such a great success compared to that of Gujarat. So because the issues of bootlegging is on a widespread rampage, and so secondly we have also seen many more deaths due to consumption of illicit alcohol and the issue of the liquor mafia targeting the individuals. So I think the state has not been able to meet the success at the level what Gujarat has been able to.
So there's no liquor mafia in Gujarat?
So they are not there on such a very large scale, sir, able to influence the society as such.
So why is that?
Sir, I think culturally, given the fact that the father of our nation, Gandhiji, comes from Gujarat, and the culture of non-drinking has been there in Gujarat since a long time, that might be one reason why the demand for alcohol is not as much as it was envisaged, sir.
But in Kerala, people drink a lot.
Yes, sir.
You would probably be culturally sort of not very comfortable.
Yes, sir. Kerala is exactly opposite to that of Gujarat.
Do you have a permit?
Sorry, sir.
Do you have a permit?
In Gujarat? No, sir. The permit system is there.
That's why I'm asking you.
No, sir, I don't have, sir.
Okay. Now tell us about what you understand by Vikasit Bharat.
Sir, Vikasit Bharat is a dream that this government has brought by to ensure that India becomes developed by 2047, to ensure that there is inclusive growth for all, there is sufficient infrastructure, and to be in lines with the developed countries and be a global power.
Is it achievable?
Sir, I'm optimistic that we would be able to achieve if the current impetus of growth and the current impetus of investment and confidence is there among the citizens as well as the government.
What would be the drivers of growth to take us to a developed country status?
So first one would be the inclusive growth at targeting all the sections of population. So second one would be investment in human capabilities, education, healthcare and digital literacy. So third one would be investment in physical infrastructure. And so the fourth one, I believe, would be the investment within the research and development aspect.
Research and development, in
Yes,
which
sir.
areas?
So in all the areas, sir, in defense, in terms of advanced technologies, and in terms of manufacturing, even electronics, etc., sir.
What is the role of AI in Viksit Bharat objective, achieving that objective? Does it have a role at all?
Sir, I think AI does have a very important and significant role in achieving the idea of a Vikasit Bharat, because even the government is now harnessing the power of AI to ensure that there is easing out of the reforms and the processes that are happening, and a lot of data can be synchronized and processed using this AI. In terms of healthcare, in terms of finance, in every sector, sir, I think AI has a very crucial role to play to ensure that we achieve the idea of Vikasit Bharat.
Tell us about poverty alleviation programs of Delhi, of the government of India.
So, we have the MG Narega scheme to ensure employment, which will ensure a sufficient wage to ensure that people don't fall into the trap of poverty. Then we have the PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana to ensure food security to people. Then, sir, in the long run, we also have the Skill India missions to ensure that people don't fall, they have the sufficient skills to match with the demands of the market. And then, sir, PM Awas Yojana to ensure sufficient shelter for all. And then, sir, in terms of business entrepreneurship, PM Swanidhi Yojana is there to support the small vendors so that they are able to conduct with their businesses in a dignified manner.
What is the level of poverty? You can quote from the Niti Aayog report.
Sir, we have been able to lift 250 million people out of poverty in a decade, and so it is currently around nearly 13.82% of the population is multidimensionally poor within the country.
Where did you get this figure?
Sir, from the Niti Aayog's multidimensional poverty report.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Vishnu Sasikumar.
Yes, sir.
Most candidates now don't want to join the foreign service. They prefer to opt for the IAS or the IPS. Why do you want to join the foreign service?
Sir, I have always been interested in the international relations even since I was a child, and it always gives me an immense pleasure and pride to be able to represent the country at the national level, at the international level, at the highest summits, able to advance the national interest that the country is wishing to do so. And by doing that, sir, I feel I can also impact a large population in India through my activities.
Now, for somebody in the foreign service, it's very important to follow important events as they happen. Did you read the newspaper today?
So today I just got an opportunity to glance through the paper.
Tell me some of the headlines or whatever you noticed relating to international relations.
So there was a news about the Israeli plan for the Gaza Strip after the war is over. PM Benjamin Netanyahu had put forward a plan.
What is the plan?
So the plan was that the Israeli troops would be there along the Gaza-Rafah border to regulate the entry. Then there will be complete demilitarization and the Israeli troops would have power to enter into Gaza Strip whenever Gaza and the West Bank Strip whenever they want to ensure that the security of Israel is in control. But sir, they have also told that they would take some measures to ensure Israeli security is upheld, but they have not told in what time frame they will do that and what are the measures that they would take.
Any other news items?
Sir, Raisina dialogue was undergoing in Delhi.
Okay, something else? Anything else which you noticed? Because observation and retention relating to international relations news items is important. Okay, let's move on.
Yes, sir.
Now, continuing with the idea of keeping track of international relations. Last year, Prime Minister visited a number of important foreign countries. He paid a number of important visits. According to you, which were the three most important ones? 2023?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall.
You are not able to recall any visit by the Prime Minister last year?
Sir, I'm able to recall the visit to the United Arab Emirates.
Were you United?
Arab Emirates.
Okay.
Last year. Then, sir.
Okay, you need to work on these.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Now, in your DAF, you have mentioned that you attended the Republic Day celebration as the guest of the Honorable Prime Minister.
Yes, sir.
For academic excellence.
Yes, sir.
Which year was that?
Sir, it was in 2018, sir.
Okay. Now, this year, who was the chief guest at the Republic Day parade?
Sir, it was the French President Emmanuel Macron.
And last year?
Sir,
It's just last year.
Egypt's President
What's his
Abdel
name?
Fattah al-Sisi.
Right. Now, why is Egypt important for us? This is the first time that an Egyptian president was invited as the chief guest. Even in the heydays of the Nehru-Nasser friendship, Nasser was never chief guest.
Yes, sir.
What makes Egypt so important now?
So, Egypt's presence along the Suez Canal, it's a strategic choke point. Then, so secondly, by having good relations with Egypt, we can have a good relations with the Islamic neighborhood over there, and that can also help us to counter terrorism and have a good footholding in the Organization of Islamic Countries as well, sir.
I see that you also were a delegate at the India-China and of course Indo-Azerbaijan Youth Roundtable. India and China. Do you follow our relations with China?
Yes, sir.
Now, after the Galwan Valley clashes, there have been a number of rounds of talks between the military commanders.
Yes, sir.
When was the last round held?
So, last round was held just recently.
19th.
19th court.
And any outcome of that?
So, the PP14 remains still a major contentious issue between India
How
and
many
China.
flashpoints remain unresolved?
So, the Gogra Hot Springs, the Demchok Valley and PP14 still remain a contentious issue between India and China.
All right. Now, you've referred to Prime Minister's visit to UAE last year. In fact, he paid 2 visits.
Yes, sir.
What about his recent visit? Have you followed that?
Yes, sir.
What makes the UAE so important for us? Tell me in point form 3 factors, according to you, which are the most important.
Sir, firstly is the presence of a very large diaspora within the
How
UAE.
large?
Sir, it's around 9 to 10 lakh people in the UAE.
In the UAE, are you sure?
I'm able to recall that.
What about the whole of the GCC? How many there?
I'm not aware of that, sir.
All
Sorry,
right.
sir.
It's only 3.5 million, 35 lakhs in UAE, and 8.8 million or around 9 lakhs in the whole of the GCC.
Okay,
Then
sorry,
tell
sir.
me, say another reason.
So, secondly is the hydrocarbon and the petroleum reserves.
Energy, okay.
And then, so thirdly, in terms of economy, UAE is a very rich country which offers a lot of potential in investment within India, and it also has an attractive market which Indians can also target in the UAE.
I referred to the GCC.
Yes, sir.
What's the full form of that?
Gulf Cooperation Council.
And how many members does that have?
Sir, it has the UAE, the Saudi, so the Arabian Peninsula excluding Yemen.
No, I want to know then how many countries does it have?
Sir, I'm not exactly
You're
aware
not
of
sure.
the number. Sorry, sir.
Some of these GCC members have signed the Abraham Accords.
Yes, sir.
Which of these GCC members?
So Bahrain
Yes.
and the United Arab Emirates,
Okay,
they
these
have
two.
signed the
Okay.
Abrahamic Accord.
Now, how many Arab countries in all have normalized relations with Israel?
Sorry, sir, I'm not exactly aware of the exact number of the countries. I'll definitely.
Which was the first Arab country?
Sir, Egypt.
Okay. And has any country become a party to the Abraham Accords after UAE and Bahrain signed it? Subsequently?
So some countries in the North Africa region, they have normalized their ties with Israel, but I'm not able to recall the names, sir. Sorry, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Vishnu,
Yes, sir.
you were recipient of Dhirubhai Ambani scholarship.
Yes, sir.
You tell me, what was the greatest contribution of Dhirubhai Ambani to Indian business?
Sir, I think the idea of transparency and information sharing with all the stakeholders one very good idea that Dhirubhai Ambani came up with, because he used to hold annual investors dialogue and summits every year at the Reliance headquarters, giving the information sharing, what are the strategies that the Reliance would do
Okay,
ahead.
no need to go. That's
Yes, sir.
anything else?
So the petrochemicals, the Reliance Petroleum and Petrochemicals is one such sector, and the yarn sector.
That is there, but okay. Anything else?
Sir, I'm able to
You're
come
not
up
able
with
to.
only this
Okay.
one. Sorry,
Let's
sir.
move to another. Have you heard of this word, deterrence?
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
So deterrence is the ability of a country to communicate that if it is attacked or if it is provoked, then the cost of provocation or attack would be so high that the other country would not be able to bear with it. So it prevents a conflict, sir.
So, between India and China, nuclear weapon is a deterrence.
Yes, sir.
Why hasn't it deterred China from doing what it is doing all the time, Islami slicing, putting India under pressure, taking away our territory? Why it hasn't?
Sir, because China has been engaging in a grey zone warfare, whereby it is not taking up the level of conflict to high threshold which requires such a drastic move. And so secondly, India's policy of no first use has been always vocal, and we have always said that we won't use a nuclear weapon or a missile against any country unless we are attacked first.
Okay, good. Now, today is the 3rd anniversary of Ukraine-Russia war.
Yes, sir.
Tell me 2 major lessons that this war gives us.
So firstly, sir, it gives the lesson about the new technologies, how they can be lethal in terms of asymmetrical warfare, because the drone warfare has been in the light due to this war. And so second reason is the conventional warfare still remains very much a ground reality, and the wars can be prolonged for a very long time. And so thirdly, I think it also shows the failures within the international system, the multilateral governance system, because the UN has not been able to solve the issue even after 3 years.
All right. What is the lesson for India?
So India must continue to invest in its technological capabilities in the military domain, invest in research and development. Secondly, India must also diversify the procurement of military hardware and not depend on any one country. And so thirdly would be, sir, the idea of strategic autonomy that India has learning to hedge among different powers to advance its national interest ahead.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vishnu. Our
Thank you,
discussion with you is over.
Thank you, sir.
Kindly wait outside for a few minutes. We'll
Yes,
call
sir.
you for a feedback.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.